Nobody's listening, right?
Hi, Andy.
Hey.
Is anybody listening out there?
Yeah, this one I saw from Kim on Spotify. Oh my God, the belly button thing. No one in my life understands. Friends will send me text pics of them with their fingers in their BBs just to mess with me. Worst, most uncomfortable feeling ever.
Wow.
So Kim is referring to last week's episode, and we also I think I made a pretty stellar video
Yes, you did.
summarizing it. I have a horrible belly button sensation. The amount of people out there that share this with me, I really, truly thought I was alone. I know you thought I was pretty much alone on this.
Yeah, I did.
And I feel so seen. Kim, thanks for this. Everybody that responded on Instagram.
I now see humanity in two ways.
Okay.
Those of us with normal belly buttons, and you freaks out there who have the burden of sensitive belly buttons.
Call us freaks. I don't care. Now that I know that there's more of us out there, call us whatever you want. I feel so happy that
I'm so glad.
Yeah, I feel good. Can I do one quick correction?
Yes.
Last week you were pretty anti-American.
What? I am a patriot.
Oh, no, I'm talking about American Airlines.
Oh, okay.
And you said that, of course, I fly American. I know its hub is in St. Louis. Now, had you have said Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, LaGuardia, Philadelphia, Phoenix, or Washington, you would have been correct. Those are the 10 official American Airlines hubs.
Oh.
So it is not a hub. And I just wanted to let all of our
So let me ask
flyers
you this.
out there know
this
that.
Is such a shame.
Tell me why.
We used to have a TWA hub in
That
St.
is
Louis.
very true.
And was TWA Fly the Friendly Skies?
I was wondering if it was We Love to Fly and it shows. Who's that?
We love to fly and it shows. Oh my God, I can hear it. Wait, I have to look this up.
What was the one that you said before so we don't forget?
Delta is We Love to Fly and it shows.
With a slogan like that,
what was
you're going
it?
the distance.
What was it?
Look it up. So look up the TWA slogan.
Slogan.
Slug line. Ooh, what's a slug line? Is that something in writing or something?
It is, but
okay.
But I thought you just said slug line. You said
slogan.
Okay, TWA slogan. Up, up, and away with TWA.
I'm okay with that.
Now, which one played Gershwin all the time?
You lost me there.
Okay.
You know what's crazy? Maybe you didn't lose me on the in-flight.
Yes.
And it's like a famous it's cheeky, but there's Gershwin playing.
Yes.
I think it's Delta.
Okay.
Or United. It's Delta or United.
Gershwin Airline.
In-air flight.
Commercial. United.
It's United.
Rhapsody in Blue. Now, Gershwin has such a special place in my heart because my mom was obsessed with Gershwin. And do you know this?
I do. And I was just thinking, this must be a nice comforting thing on United for flights.
Yes. I heard so much Gershwin growing up. It was a constant in our lives.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, we cracked that. I totally forget what the first slogan was that I said.
It's funny that you mentioned TWA because this is something that probably a lot of people don't even remember because we're older folk. But they were the shit, weren't they, when we were kids?
They were, and I can't believe it's gone.
Like, how did they go tits
up?
up?
It made St. Louis feel like a place to be.
Maybe it was just St. Louisans? St. Louisans?
St. Louisans, I think.
Maybe we just thought maybe it wasn't bigger than that. Maybe it was way smaller than we thought it was. We were just like hometown
TWA
proud.
Was a real, well, whatever. Regardless there were way more direct flights to and from St. Louis.
Can you Google why did TWA shit the bed?
Okay. Why did TWA shit the bed? Oh, shit.
Tell me.
Oh, my God. Speaking of this is so weird. First of all, the first thing that comes up is a Reddit thread that says, where did shit the bed come from?
Oh.
It means that you died. When you die, it's very possible that your poopy comes out.
You release your bowels.
So the second thing that comes up is an article from 2014.
YTWA shit
No, it
the
says
bed. Shat the bed.
when Carl Icahn ran a company, the story of TWA. Now, I don't know Carl Icahn's connection to TWA, but Carl Icahn, can I share? I assume I could share this.
I think you signed NDAs, but I think you could say you were in a dwelling of his before.
Okay. This is where Patreon really comes through because we can be a little faster and looser with our...
I know you think that, but I don't. The logic still doesn't make sense to me. But
Well,
great.
whatever. I have spent quite a bit of time with Mr. Icahn.
Okay, now you're making it sound like you had sex with him or
Notes
something.
to him or unbeknownst to him. No. He would not know who I am, but I know who he is.
Is it Carl with a C or a K?
See.
Oh.
That's
I
so
would have
interesting.
thought it was a K for some reason. K seems richer. He's really rich, right? How do you spell icon? Is there a K in icon?
No, it's ICAHN.
No K's in the whole thing?
No K's. Carl Icahn. Anyway, an older gentleman. There's a very interesting
Whoa,
documentary.
he's got some big dick energy, this boy.
He's passed, right? He's passed. Hang
No,
on.
he's alive.
Carl
He's very
Icahn.
much alive.
Oh, seeing his face actually brings kind of more memories back. Now I'm really making it sound like... Listen, we didn't have any sort of anything. I worked in his home. Okay. So here's what I want to say about Carl Icahn.
I think you should just stop.
Am I going to get murdered? No. Say what you will about Carl Icahn.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of a cow. I mean,
No one said anything, by the way, yet.
Well-
You're making it seem like...
well, listen, he at the point that I was operating in his home was the wealthiest man in New York City.
Okay.
His wealth, he is a many billionaire, which I think is, I'm going to say, I think it's ethically wrong to be a billionaire.
Hot take.
Okay. So anyway.
I hope Carl doesn't hear or see this. It might really make him feel bad.
But what I wanted to say about him
Yeah.
is, and he does philanthropy and stuff like that, but the way he built his empire was actually by like poking holes in he kind of was a disruptor of Wall Street in a way that he was kind of like a cowboy of Wall Street. Like your face is so disappointed now.
I know nothing about this, and I know you might know something about this, but like for us to
You knew a little bit about his family. Do you remember?
No.
You had a weird connection to his family.
Really?
Yes.
Like someone I knew?
Yes.
Okay.
Does this ring a bell?
Maybe.
A stepdaughter?
What's the last letter of their name, of their last name? Okay, what's the last letter of the
First name?
No, the last letter of the last name.
Well, of your friend?
Yeah.
I'll do you one better. The last letter of their first name is X.
I know for you that seems super obvious, but I got nothing.
Okay.
The last letter of their first name is X? Who has X as the last letter of their name?
Well, people with this specific name, I think.
Wait, so you're saying like there's a name that's like Andy, ANDX, like that? You're saying that that's the letter of the first name, the last letter's X?
Yes.
Beatrix? There's a could it be Beatrix
Well, that's good, but this is a much more common name.
with an X at the end?
Yeah. It's a boy's name.
Dix? DIX? It's a boy's name with an X at the end?
Yeah, I want you to get this. I really do. We know some of them now.
We know some of them.
group.
Group of them.
Oh God. Okay. There now it's a name that was probably less popular our generation,
Okay.
but your friend who is our generation is connected to this family, and we don't need to get into how. Now it's a much more popular name our kids' generation. So we know a bunch of them. Do we? There are a bunch of kids with this name.
Okay.
It ends with X. Do you want a hint?
A hint? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I actually do. Because I actually have no idea of the person or the name with an X at the end.
The first letter is M.
Max.
You got it.
Oh, yeah. That's, gosh, how did I not get that? Okay, Max. Still don't know who you're talking about.
You don't?
I don't, but it's Max, I guess.
Okay, well.
Cool.
Anyway, we have some things to discuss.
We've had a weird week. COVID hit the house.
Finally, after 3.5 years, I will say this, we're one of the very few families I know that never got it.
Yeah.
And that's
Until now.
partially just sheer dumb luck, and then partially because I think you, especially as the leader of this household in all things germs,
Yeah.
have kept us
germs.
very, very, we've all gone by all the rules and then a little extra along the way. We've
Sure.
done whatever the CDC says, plus a little more.
Yeah.
So kind of took me off guard, but I guess it's like having a little bit of a renaissance right now. The old COVID. It's coming into its renaissance era. But because I've been, of course, now that it's in our family, and spoiler alert, one of our kids got it. None of the rest of us did. Knock on wood. But I think that we're
getting close to the exit
7
point.
days in.
Yeah.
The kid is about, like, the test is almost negative. It's faded. It's barely there. And what was weird about it, though, was our kid, the reaction was stomach flu.
It seemed like it, yeah. So I was away with the kids at the cabin. Our daughter woke up at like 12:30 at night and was like, I don't feel good. And I got her out of bed and felt her head, and like she was really hot. And I was like, oh, she probably has a fever, but we didn't have a thermometer up there. And I took her into the bathroom, and yeah, I could just tell something was about to go down. And then she started throwing up. And so she threw up a few times that night, slept in bed with me. Then the next morning threw up and was out of it. I could definitely tell I had a fever. Brought her back here. I thought she had a stomach bug or something.
Yeah.
COVID didn't even cross my mind. And it turns out when we did give her a COVID test, it turned instant. Like the second the drop hit the test.
So we all have some trips coming up that we wanted to go on.
Yeah, so we've been
masking inside, and I think doing a good job. So hopefully, knock on wood again, we're in the clear. But this week's been a little like we had to cancel a bunch of things that we were really very excited to do. You and I have both been a little down.
Yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird week.
But we've had some bright spots too.
Love the bright spots.
Most of the bright spots for me have come in the form of being outside.
A lot of meals outside.
Which, it's been so hot. I feel like our weather went from, like, cold and damp to crazy hot. And we kind of haven't had the summertime eating outside thing. But this has forced us to do that, and it's been very nice.
It's been very nice.
And along with that has come... Now, as you know, I was off coffee for a minute, and along with that, I was off alcohol and all sorts of fun things. Tomatoes, lemon for a hot second. All the things I truly love, honestly.
Yeah.
Chocolate. Oh, man, the list goes on. But I'm back on it all.
Oh.
All of it's back, except caffeinated coffee is not back. And so... I was introduced to a new cocktail this summer. Oh. You were excited to see where I was going until I said that.
Yeah.
The Aperol Spritz.
Yeah.
Which has it been around for a long time and I'm I'm just getting hip to it?
It's having
A renaissance at the same time that COVID is?
You're so basic right now.
Oh.
You being like, and I just love Aperol. Like, everyone is saying that this summer. It's having a moment.
Is it? Well,
Yeah.
I had never had Aperol before.
I might be with you there.
And we were introduced to it at our friend's house, remember? And we were like, this is nice. Interesting. Kind of a little bit bitter. Sweet, too. Cool.
Yes, yeah.
And pair it with some Prosecco and an orange rind or a lemon rind and some sparkling water to top it off. So refreshing. Such a nice buzz from two of those puppies. So I've been having my Aperol Spritz era, and I'm really happy because I am here 43 years young.
Yeah.
I feel that I'm finally figuring out my beverage, and this is so reminiscent of Tea Bash, I'm sorry, but like my seasonal beverage profile.
I'm happy for you.
Yes, I'm happy for me too. It's so delightful. And I have to be honest with you. Growing up in St. Louis, Bud Light flowed like water. I mean, it was it was Bud Light here, there, everywhere.
Bud Light everywhere. We were flying on JWA.
Zima was around. You know, I take what I can get, obviously, as most teenagers or underage kids. You know, I'll drink whatever is put in front of me or whoever's older brother got what.
Looking at you, Carl.
Oh, icon. I wish he gave me a drink. I don't know what that means, but anyway.
I was alluding to your romance started very long time ago. But
I knew Carl back.
Yeah.
So anyway, then it was kind of beer and wine. Beer and wine. You know, what else do you need? Cocktails, always I kind of was like, what's the big deal? And cocktails also were like a kamikaze shot, you know, when you're going to those.
Cocktail.
I know it's a shot, but like when you go to bars, it's like, what are you going to get? Basically, it was like Red Bull and vodka or vodka soda, neither of which I enjoyed drinking. It was really just to get that hard ass buzz and to get shit faced as fast as I could so I could carry on partying and ignoring the pain that was going on in my life. And then cut to a post-40s adulthood. Now I get it. Now I want to go to a speakeasy where there's like a craftsman bartender. You're so embarrassed by me. But doesn't it sound nice? No? You don't want to go to like a bar where there's someone who's like, the problem now, honestly, is that you get drunk on these drinks, where that used to be the goal. Now I'm like, I want to try all these cocktails, but the problem is I really can only have two.
You're kind of contradicting yourself. I thought you were saying like you figured out your seasonal drinks.
Yes.
But now you're saying you want to try a bunch of drinks.
Just for like a fun. I mean, I just was introduced to my summer drink. I just met it. Had I not tried a new drink, I wouldn't have
But this
found
is
it.
like your summer of
I still have 2 slots open. I have fall and spring. I mean, I have fall and spring still open. I think those right now are really kind of wine, in the wine category. I still am looking for a cocktail to fill those. Winter is obviously the old fashioned, what Artemis calls Elizabeth's Lamazing old fashions.
God damn it. Like,
am I so insufferable right now?
Yeah, because like the lack of support you gave me on my passion for beverages for so many years, so much so that I had a whole podcast dedicated to it. And it's like then all of a sudden you understand beverages and like have a zest for them. And I'm supposed to sit here and entertain it when for 5+ years you were just like, Andy, it's dumb beverages. Also, no longer than an hour ago, you were berating me about how many beverages are in our refrigerator.
Well, it is getting out of control. There's no room for food. Our whole fridge is beverages and hot sauces. And
But,
wait, I do want to ask you. Let's go back to, and I'm being dead serious. My lack of support. Speak to that. Please.
Your lack of support.
This is new to me. Now, I know there have been complaints over the years with how much real estate your beverages take up in our fridge and home.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly for tea bash.
I think my passion for beverages throughout our relationship has been more of a burden on you than a boon, and I think your attitude reflects that.
Now, what makes you think that? And also, talk to me about your passion. I don't know when your passion started. I don't know. I mean, maybe it wasn't as tuned in as I should have been. I don't even know. Tea Bash started, I guess, because you would ask guests on Totally Lame about what they drink a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we joked about you should start a podcast just about beverages.
And then I did.
Your passion seemed like more of a curiosity in what other people are drinking. I didn't know you had a beverage passion. As far as I knew,
you're right.
Drank Mountain Dew and fucking...
How you just said Mountain Dew speaks volumes. It's not a passion. It is a curiosity, and was just to hear you. I don't know. You just sound so basic. I guess that's what it is. You and your Aperol Spritz, which you're not going to be drinking them next summer because you're going to be on to the next thing. You know?
If that brings me the same kind of Spritz joy, then great.
No, that is great. That is great. I just want
What's your drink?
What?
What's your drink?
As you know, I share with you the winter old fashioned is my favorite.
Yes.
I'm really going gung-ho on that. Summer drinks, I love my straight tequila. I also find that just a vodka soda is just refreshing and easy. And But I'm going to have an Aperol Spritz with you later today.
Yay.
I don't even think I articulated correctly what I'm trying to get at, but there is something
Can I ask
that
you
feels...
did you feel like I shamed you about your beverage endeavors or something? Or you don't blame me for the dissolution of Tea Bash.
Oh, no.
That was a whole different thing.
No.
The way you said that made me think, is there a part of you that thinks I, for some reason...
Oh, no, absolutely.
Because I was a little bit annoyed just with the amount of time, because you had to get all the beverages, you had to deliver the beverages. Our garage was filled with beverage paraphernalia.
Sure.
But I still loved that you did it.
Oh, yeah. No.
I love
You
Josh
have nothing.
Briggs
you have nothing to do with the thing. Josh and I had a great show. We brought the show back. We had some very fun. We did another 50 plus episodes. And then Josh and I, we just realized, if we're going to be totally honest, our passion dipped a little bit on it. And we realized we didn't have the fire in our hearts for it. And we came to that conclusion and wanted to end it.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
I just had a thought. I'm going to put Topo Chico on top of our Aperol Spritzes tonight.
Go fuck yourself. So, can I tell you what I think my dream job of all time would be, that I just discovered, or I just invented in my head?
Oh, yeah.
This past week.
Yes.
I was at the grocery store waiting for Starbucks, and there's a big camera and monitor that's you're on TV, right?
Yes.
And I was and then you look around the store and you see all those circle dome cameras all around the store. And I'm just looking around at people.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah, I see a lady walk in with a Cascade dishwasher pods thing full of change. She's going over to the Coinstar machine to get that going on. And then I see this hip woman walk in, and then I'm just looking around at everybody, and I'm everybody's on camera right now.
Yes.
And somewhere in this building, there's a person
Who's
behind...
pooping their pants.
No. Well, potentially.
Yeah.
There's a person watching all of this, right?
Yes.
This is what I want. Do you remember that show, Mystery...
Science Theater 3000?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're watching like old classic movies, and it's the guy and his robot friends, and they're doing commentary on it.
Mm-hmm.
I just instantly, I had this fantasy of like, I would love to track all these different people from all different walks of life through the store as they're going through the grocery store. I get to see everything they're picking out. I get to think, what are they going to have tonight? I can get to dream up, why are they getting this? I get to make fun of them when they get the brand that I think they should have gotten the other brand. Like all of it. And it seems so fun to me. So I want a TV show or like a YouTube show.
It's like Love Island, but there's no romance.
None at all.
You're just in a grocery store.
Yes, and I get to be like the Love Island commentator, making
Yes.
jokes.
Yes.
But authentically, there will be arcs that happen with people going into the grocery store.
Yeah.
There's big privacy concerns here. I'm literally like trying to think of like how could I create this
Andy,
show?
you know that you're first of all, this is your dream job. You're a record producer. You just 2 days ago were working on music you're sending over to the Apple Corporation. You're now podcasting and making videos that are so high quality. I will say several people commented on your last video of my cheerleading, which is one of my all-time favorites.
Go check them out.
Saying
Instagram.
you might have a new career. You have like some of the coolest jobs that people would die to have. But what you want is to be the security guy at a Ralph's.
No, sort of. I want to have a TV show or a YouTube show.
Okay.
That this is going out to the world where I get to watch all these people shopping, and I will make the show and I will do the commentary on the
Privacy
show.
concerns are gone. Here's what you do.
Tell me.
You have someone at the door who has the paperwork for people to sign as they're leaving, going, so we're doing this show as part of these security cameras. Do you agree to be part of it? And if you do, here's $1,000.
Okay. Number one, I wish you wouldn't have said $1,000 because I was thinking like, and if you want to partake, we'll give you $100 gift card for your groceries. So that way you're getting a lot of people saying yes.
I think you need a little bit more, but
I'm getting so excited that this, because, okay, I thought, this is how dumb my production mind was. I was like, would we have to create like a whole new grocery store that's like subsidized by the show that offers like discount prices, so people come to the store knowing they have to sign that release.
By walking in these doors, you have agreed to appear on... No, but then it's not authentic. If people know you're watching them, it's going to change the game.
But then, wait. Then how does your hack with the release at the door work?
At the end, when they're leaving.
But then they feel so creeped out that we were watching them the whole time.
They already are being watched. They're on security footage.
I truly am so excited about this idea. Because
I think
people, I really think people would like this show.
Yes. Now,
and I
you
think
don't want
I
it to be
bring
mean-spirited, and I don't think you would let it be mean-spirited.
No. I think there would be some good lighthearted ribbing from time to time. But no, I think it would be, I think I would have the right angle on it. And it would be joyful, funny, some light ribbing.
You would have loved, remember a few months ago, I didn't bring it up on the podcast because I felt like all I was doing was complaining about people out in our neighborhood and lives. A few months ago at our local grocery store, you were with me in the car, and remember, you weren't even going to come with me. And I was like, please come with me. It was like a random early morning run to the grocery store. We're driving in the parking lot. You came with me, and I'm so glad you did.
Have we never talked about
No.
this? This is fucking insane.
And you, thank God you came with me, but there were plenty of spaces, but of course the spaces closest to the store mostly were taken, but there's plenty in the back row or whatever. And I was just driving along and I saw an open space and I pull in, and as I pull in, I realized that there was a car waiting, but it was just kind of parked in the in the row.
Yeah, you snaked a spot, but like you didn't really. Like
There were spots literally 4 cars down, and the car that was there. Now, imagine a car waiting with their blinker on, obviously waiting for a car to come out of that spot. I didn't even see the car come out of the spot, so I have to assume the driver in that car was distracted. And their blinker was not on.
Yeah.
So there was just a car sitting there in an open spot. But
and you didn't realize until you were pulling in when then we see the face of the woman and she got really upset.
She screamed
looking.
she yelled at us and honked or something.
Right. And then you were
she
like,
parked
oh, shit.
4 cars down.
Right.
And she gets out. It doesn't seem like she has an issue with walking 4 more cars that would have, I would have felt terrible if it were someone like with a disability or something like that. No, this is just a fucking miserable woman. And she's walking by and she like curses us as she's walking by, and you and I kind of laugh.
But I think you also need to say that you did do like a sorry hand gesture as it happened. As she
was walking back by our car,
you said
and she grumbled and yelled something at us, I rolled down my window and I said, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize you were waiting. Mm-hmm. Because she didn't have her blinker on. And also, the car had pulled out in enough time. I hadn't seen the car that she was waiting apparently for. So, whatever. I go in the store. You and I separate. You're going to go get something. I'm going to get something. I see her again in the bread thing, and she again, and there are other people around the bread area.
Yeah.
She again like grumbles something about me. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm really sorry, miss. I didn't see your blinker. Mm-hmm. So I must have missed that you were waiting. And she goes, yeah, whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay. Well, I apologized. And she was like, just be more aware.
Was it that? I thought it was more
heated.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not remembering it, but she was pissed. And I mean, other people were looking at us. And I was very much like, I've said I'm sorry several times. And, I said it was an honest mistake. Mm-hmm. Have a good day. Yeah. And she said something really nasty.
Yeah.
And I run into you and I'm like, Andy, I don't know what to do. We need to get out of here fast because I want to get back to our car before she does, because I'm really concerned she's going to key our car. And you said, I'll do one better. I'll go move the car right now.
Yes. And I was so excited to have this job of like, this lady, there's no, I mean,
she was so pissed off. And honestly, it makes me sad. Like, to operate in the world with that level of misery where she just wanted to be mad
after
at
you
someone.
Had apologized. Yeah,
after I had apologized.
Right. And it was
also,
an honest mistake.
She didn't have her blinker on. Like neither of us were in the right or wrong. But
do you hear that you're describing like the season finale of season 1 of my show? Like, because then I run out to...
Oh, you run out?
I go out to move the car, and then I come back in.
In real life. So this was very exciting to me. You go move the car, which I fucking loved, because I was like, she's going to go looking to key our car.
We sound so insane that we moved the car.
But I love it.
I wanted to move the car.
To the other side.
Yeah, because I thought it was like kind of fun and funny that we were moving the car.
No, I was like, I'm so excited for her, because she was going in for like 1 or 2 things and going out. She got out of there fast, and I know she was going to go mess something up. And I love that she gets there and she's like, huh? And confused. And her car's parked 4 down. And she's like, was it here? I love it. Love. Because I had my grocery cart. I was ready for a shop.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But see, if I'm running security, I see a little argument that you guys are having in the bread section.
Yeah.
Then I see you talking to me. Then I see me scurry out the store. But then I see me scurry back in the store. So I'm like,
Yes.
what? So then I got to go look at the footage out in the parking lot. And I
Oh.
see
Why
I
does
move
this
the
guy
car.
just move
Yeah,
the
it's amazing. It's so good. It's so good. This,
Andy,
ah.
I feel like this is really something. You could be really onto something here.
But how do you get the grocery store on board? Like, how does Mr. Beast go into like Walmart and do stuff?
Great question, but I think it's Walmart loves to have the advertising. Now, how are you going to deal with shoplifters?
This is so good for the show.
I know, but like,
You don't do anything. Once they're out of the store, you don't do anything.
but that's, but like, that's where you might run into problems. These grocery stores have security cameras for a reason.
Yeah, but they're not like running after.
So they would also have a regular security guy. You're not actually doing security for the grocery store.
No, because I can't truly be doing the proper work because I'm going to start picking people and following people where the good person behind the monitors is really doing a bird's eye, making sure they're watching the whole show. I'm honing in on people.
You know, when you first said the security cameras, do you remember, I don't think this exists anymore, and I think for this reason, I think this was like in the early 2000s, there was a time where if you went into say Nordstrom's or, I don't know, JCPenney's or something, in the dressing rooms, there'd be a sign on the mirrors that said video surveillance in progress or something like that. And I always thought about that because, I'm stripping down in those places, sometimes to nothing.
Yeah.
Not frequently. I mean, usually I'd have my underwear on, but like
Name one time you would take your underwear off.
Never probably.
Thank
but
you.
I would take my bra off if I'm trying on dresses.
Cool. Very cool.
But like, who has that security job?
No.
How often are they masturbating?
I think.
And also, is that like legal?
Yeah, no.
It's so strange.
I don't think there can be cameras in the dressing rooms.
I always thought they were
that's very illegal.
behind the mirrors. Then why was?
Because I think you can have warnings that maybe there's cameras in the public areas,
Like the hallway in the dressing room?
Yeah. You can there. I think that's very illegal. Having said that, all of us have definitely been in a dressing room or a bathroom where people have illegally put those cameras, for sure. Like creepos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, this is a great segue. So speaking of security cameras, this is so crazy. I just want to tell you about this. My sister, your dear sister-in-law, Anna Marie.
Yeah.
They own a home in Montana.
Yeah.
And, they Airbnb it from time to time. Not a ton, but just like sometimes in this town they live in, there are like events and stuff like that. So they've been Airbnb-ing it. I mean, it's been available to rent for maybe all of 8 months.
Okay.
They probably had like 6 or 7 groups renting it. Beautiful home. Now, and also like a big home. So the groups are pretty big, and this is important.
Okay.
Probably usually 6 or 7 people.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So this house, and it has 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
But many beds
There's
and bedrooms.
Toilet cams in this story, are there?
No.
Okay, good.
But there are cameras on the outside of the house,
And
obviously.
I think that's all you can do with Airbnb,
That's all
right?
you can do. There are no cameras inside. They're not weirdos.
Yeah.
But there's this deck off their house. It is so beautiful. I mean, they've sent us pictures. They're like elk and antelope coming through this field. They have this beautiful land that looks up onto these mountains, and it's stunning. And they have like a large amount of land there.
Okay.
Out of the 6 or 7 groups who have Airbnb'd this, how many times has one of the men in that group gone and pissed off that deck?
Every single time. Absolutely every single time.
Okay, it's 4 different times from 4 different groups. A guy has gone and stood at the edge of the deck, whipped out his, peer, and pissed.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you, a man who has one of those, what is the appeal? Is it the air? Does it feel like freedom
Yeah,
for
it's
your
nice
dick?
to do it. It's
Like,
nice to pee outside from time to time, for sure.
off the deck onto this? Is it the view? Like, what is it?
I think you're describing all of it. I'd have to see the footage and send the footage my way, please. The off the deck is a little
And
interesting
there are
to
people
me.
around also. I mean, I don't know if this is usually early morning or like when, but they're not, there are people in the house when they're doing
Like,
this.
there is a kind of guy that would go to an Airbnb in Montana that, to me, I'm like, oh, this isn't that weird at all. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's why I guessed like every group staying there might have one of these guys. But yeah, I mean, maybe there's people in the bathroom. It's
Okay, so
occupied, and
that's
like,
the
I'm just
thing
gonna
that
go out the deck and
Anna
whiz
Marie
off
was
the.
saying, like, there's one bathroom for the master bedroom, primary bedroom, sorry. And then there's another bathroom, kind of. So, like, two people are using one. I mean, maybe other people could go use
But
the
let's say
primary
people are
bathroom.
sleeping in the
Exactly.
bedroom, the other people can't come in to use that one.
Exactly.
So yeah, that makes the most sense. Plus, you add in the benefit of looking out at a nice view and having your
Does the wind feel
wind
good?
on your wang feels nice.
Does it?
And you're looking out at this beautiful view. It's kind of cold. I get the appeal. I do.
I was talking to our daughter about this, and she was like, so it wasn't a woman, though, like squatting, peeing. And I was like, no. And she goes, then something's really wrong. That's what she said.
Wow.
But I kind of want to try it now. It sounds nice.
Off the deck, or you would crouch?
I would want you holding my hands.
No, another person there I think ruins the experience. This is
Oh.
a solo adventure for you. I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat, but
I don't know if I have the, like, I don't know if I can do it.
Man, it makes
Probably my sister wouldn't want me to.
It makes me think those are we had the neighbors up at the cabin that were Airbnb-ing their place that told me about the time that on their
Oh, yeah.
cameras
What
they
was the
saw
thing that happened?
there were people sitting on their roof. So like, they get like, they're looking at their camera footage and they're like, why the fuck are these guests on our roof? And then those same guests completely rearranged the living room furniture to a new design and left the Airbnb. So
What?
people are bonkers.
Wow.
Bonkers.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, okay, we cracked that. The answer is, yeah, sure, makes sense, feels good, looks nice, not enough bathrooms. I was blown away when she told me that, just floored.
Would you have been blown away if it was like one person or even that
I would have been like, oh,
that makes, yeah.
but the fact that it's such a high percentage.
But also, let me throw this in. Here's another place where I can see this happening. If I think about growing up in Idaho and drinking at friends' houses in the wilderness and drinking and partying,
Yeah.
and pissing off decks all the time, going to over the tree all the time.
And it's a deck thing.
Jumping out of the hot tub and pissing off the deck, sure. In the wintertime into the snow, haha, that's so funny. Look at the pee in the snow all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're out in the
So it's guys like you.
yeah, it's guys like me.
The future host of, what are we going to call this?
What are we?
Supermarket surveillance. Oh, I'm not part of this. I know I'm not.
I'd actually maybe appreciate your input on it. Maybe you're a producer on it, an executive producer with me.
Okay.
I don't know what we're going to call it. Not to dwell on this, but can we circle back? I had one other questions about my supermarket show. Is there anything to... No, this is not the same show. I'm trying to think of like really getting this off the ground. I'm like, well, I could do a show where I'm just like, people are walking in the grocery store and I'm like, hey, I'm doing a show where I see what people are buying for their groceries. I'll buy your groceries if you let me come with you and video it.
Oh, that's fun for YouTube.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but it's not the security footage version, which is so much more fun to me. And I would be uncomfortable walking around. I think I would be. There's something about the anonymity.
It would be a little bit hard. So, like on Love Island, because you want that type of quality. I am pretty blown away, and I'm sure on like Big Brother or whatever these other shows that we didn't watch, this was technology that was improving over the years. But the fact that on Love Island you feel like you are with, like the camera is right in front of all of these people at all times with a cameraman. But the truth is there are just all these cameras all around. And the cameras must be so high quality that they can zoom in on these people anywhere they are, basically, in this mansion. The people, there would have to be so many cameras around that it would be very hard to...
Yeah, it's more like to do the show, it would almost have to be like a corner store that you could really rig it
Well,
right.
now I'm not... A corner store, no.
Yeah, you'd want a full...
Yeah, you want a full situation.
I don't know how good the cameras are in some of those grocery stores. Might be good enough, plus the commentary.
I don't know. You always hear, like, when you hearing about, like, crimes, that they're like, we found the footage, but it only, like, it only keeps it for 12 hours, and it's, like, grainy, and I don't know. I don't know how good it is either. You'd want to re-rig the whole situation. But I don't want to crush your dreams. I think that I can see that. I think you, Andy Rosen, Aries man.
Yeah.
When you're passionate about something, you make it happen. And I think where there's a will, there's a way. And I can tell you're very excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should really look into this and see about getting it off the ground. I support you. And I'll be excited to watch this unfold.
Wow. That's great. I would show more enthusiasm, but my leg just fell asleep completely.
God.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I do need to look into it more.
Yeah, I think so. Faux show.
Yeah, if anyone has any ideas about the potential security hurdles and how to...
I don't want to take time, though, away from your amazing video editing.
No.
No.
This is a total sidetrack, but I was watching...
I think we can sidetrack. I feel like that we covered
Scratch
that.
that itch. I was watching Night at the Museum with our sick kiddo the other day, and there's a scene where Ben Stiller walks into an apartment that turns out is his ex-wife's apartment. He's like bringing his kid back.
Uh-huh.
And he kisses the ex-wife. They kiss each other on the cheek as he walks in. And right when it happened, I was like, who is this? Is this his wife? Wait, that doesn't make sense. And then you watch a few more minutes like, oh no, this is his ex-wife. And then Paul Rudd shows up and you're like, who's married to Paul Rudd? And then our daughter was like, why did he kiss her? And I was like, I don't know. And then I'm thinking, how common is it that exes, divorced people, kiss each other on the cheek? And why did they put that in the movie?
Well, in France, you kiss one side, then the other side, It's
Your ex, though?
Yeah, I think it's a form of greeting. And here, sometimes like at a party, that's like a form of greeting. Like, hi, if it's someone I haven't seen in a long time, you go for kind of an air side cheek kiss. I wouldn't necessarily kiss someone on their cheek. It's more like you kind of get close enough and kiss the air.
Mm-hmm.
But, there are a lot of divorced couples. They're very good friends. They're better parents divorced than married. Like
Sure.
I have several friends who have recently gotten divorced who, like, their exes are still kind of one of their best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's not that weird. But you're saying he like planted one on her cheek.
Or they both did. It was kind of what you're talking about. The greeting
I think that's
kiss.
just a greeting kiss then.
But for divorced people?
Well,
Like if you and I got divorced, I don't think
Let's
I
not
would
do it.
If I was your new person, I would be upset if I saw you and I with that greeting.
But it's just like I almost like feel like you and I need to do this after the podcast or something. Because I think it's just like a hi, hello. It's interesting that it stood out to both you and Teddy.
Without me saying a word. I was thinking it, and then she brought it up, and I was like, that's my kid right there.
Okay.
Huh. Okay, so you're like no big deal.
Well, I don't know.
You're so European these days.
I mean, there've definitely been people I dislike immensely that when I say hi to them, I'm like, "Hi," and do the
Really?
yes.
What?
Well,
That
like
you
at a
dislike
party, I mean,
immensely?
it's not like they wouldn't know that I dislike them or whatever. I mean, there are very few people like this out in the world, but
Mhm.
like, yeah, if I saw someone and do kind of a little hug slash,
Yeah.
in France, they don't really hug. They truly just do these two bisous,
Jesus.
bisous.
The only reason I would want to get divorced from you is
Don't look so excited.
Well, no, you'll see why. Is so we could have that
Divorced people sex.
yeah, like where we're running around. What's that movie that you like so much where the divorced people start having sex? Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin are in it.
Oh, it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only reason I'd want to get divorced so we could have it's complicated sex.
That's so sweet.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the kids are like, what's going on? Why is mom being so happy these days?
We have so many dreams together, though, that I would not want to give those up. We can just have married sex.
It's completely different, though.
If you really wanted that.
No. It's not. You can't do it as like a knowing stunt.
Oh, it
I'm not-
has to be authentic?
Yeah.
Because
I
there
don't
has to
want
be a little bit of hatred for each other. And it's kind of like, I hear you. It's kind of like, oh, I hate this person, kind of. Because it's so nuanced. There's so many layers to the issues that tore us apart.
Yeah.
But I can't resist how sexually attracted I am to them, like the pheromones.
Yeah.
And how kind of naughty it is that the one person I shouldn't be having sex with is the one I'm having sex with.
Yeah. Now
I see what you
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw there was like some headline I looked at yesterday where the actor from The Kid and Billy Elliot, I think I'm getting this right.
Yes. Well,
Is
yeah,
getting-
we've seen him around.
Oh, I'm getting it wrong then. Because I know that guy.
Yeah.
This is a different guy. But
Okay.
someone like that guy is getting married to Elon Musk's 2 times ex-wife.
Elon?
Yeah.
Isn't it Elon?
Elon Musk. Elon?
Elon Musk.
Okay. Elon. But the headline's like, this Billy Elliot kid, but I guess it wasn't the Billy Elliot kid.
Let me look this. Who is marrying
Elon's ex actor.
Elon's ex?
I do want you to see. Oh, it's the Love Actually kid that plays the drums.
Yes, totally. Yes.
What's he famous for?
Thomas Brody Sangster, the kid from. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Is that his big thing? Love Actually.
Love Actually.
I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
but like,
you recognize him.
Okay. Anyways, the headline was something like marries Elon's 2 times X. And I'm like, what does 2 times X mean? And then you look it up. Elon was married to some actor
Elon?
2 times. Like they got married between these years, got divorced, then they got remarried, then got
Wow.
divorced again. But it's like, whenever you see that, it's kind of like, well, there's some sort of fire going on there.
Yes, I would be very, very threatened if I were Thomas Brody Sangster. When I see her did they have a kid together?
I mean, hasn't
He's
Elon
had a kid
a
with-
gazillion kids?
Yeah.
These billionaires, they don't even care. They just spread the seed and they're like, you take care
You
of the
and
kid.
I were watching. I mean, this is funny because billionaire-ism has come up several times, starting with Carl Icahn, and now you and I were watching the other two,
Oh, yeah.
the new season, which is very funny. But this premise that the moment someone turns into a billionaire, they just completely lose touch with reality.
Yeah.
And I really think there's something to that. Like, that kind of money messes up someone's brain. And I think it's wrong.
Unethical. As you,
Unethical.
yeah.
I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel you.
And it's interesting to me that some people have the life goal of like, I want to be a billionaire.
Right.
We have heard of a person who we know-ish.
Yeah.
That's their goal.
Right.
And I find that fucking insane.
Yeah, because it's like, to what? Why?
And this brings me to, we might go a little long. That's okay. Being back in St. Louis, it was really interesting because, first of all, I love St. Louis. It has such a dear place in my heart. I love my friends who live there. Every time I go back there, I go through this process, though. And I grew up in a very privileged, really fancy part of the city where my family was not like a super fancy family. We were kind of a regular family in this
Yeah.
fancy world. Driving around this part of the city called Ladue, the homes are, I mean, jaw-droppingly, first of all, beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
enormous.
Yeah.
Everything is perfectly manicured, like these huge, some of these homes have over an acre of land, and then there's the next home. Like the neighbors, my lane that I grew up on, all the homes are super spread out and there's land between them, but it's very much a lane that you're
Right.
driving down going house to house. Each house like more stunning than the next, but also I'm going, some of these homes look like hotels. Like it is, some of them look like castles. Like it is
Yeah.
mind-boggling to me that I'm like, I would never want that much house, first of all, to clean. I mean, you and I,
Oh my
even you and I
God.
cleaned our house yesterday, top to bottom, and it was like, I can't, obviously they have people who are cleaning for them, but even that, to own a home like that, and I think usually these responsibilities fall on the women, which St. Louis has this very old school kind of conservative, what's the subset or set? I don't even know if it's a subset in this world of like, I think it's still kind of the women do the women's jobs. And
Okay.
now more and more women work. And my friends who live there all work and stuff. But I bring this up because every time I go there, I'm like, God, it was a great place for me to grow up. Now I'm acutely aware of my privilege and all of that stuff. But I also, there's such a keeping up with the Joneses there.
Yeah.
And when the bar of like keeping up with the Joneses is kind of low, and what I mean by that is like you get so much for your money there that the biggest house you could possibly have, is $5 million, which for many of these people who have generational wealth is very achievable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then what? So now you have a home that's the size of a hotel.
Right.
And you live in this beautiful place, but it's a very small, I mean, like most places, ultimately the community is small. And you drive the most expensive car you can get.
Right.
And you belong to the most expensive country club you can. All of these things, I mean, and this was kind of spoken to in the other two, like the idea of achieving the status of being a billionaire is so backwards to me and gross.
Yeah.
And it also makes me feel very hollow. Like, obviously, this is a very, very small amount of St. Louis, but this like idea of me showing that I have more money than everyone means that I am more important, like I matter more. It kind of distills down to the point of like existing and the point of our human lives.
Right.
And that seems like such a hollow path to take. And when you have so many resources and you can do anything, like, I mean, it bums me out. Like, I go through this every time I go there. I go through this, oh my God, it is so beautiful. Wow, like, we could afford a place more like this than, our tiny 1,100 square foot house.
Right.
We could have yard space for our kids. Like, my friends have zip lines for their kids, like, all of this stuff.
Right.
Wow. But then the more time I spend there, I'm like, to what end, though, is this, all of this? And I mean, the school I went to now, and you went to,
Yeah.
I'm almost nervous to show our kids who go to public LAUSD school that we love.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're in a fairy tale. Like, it doesn't even seem real. It's so beautiful.
Right. Right.
Thoughts on that?
I mean, I have tons of thoughts on all of that. And I grew up as a middle class kid that was always around the upper middle class slash upper class people. So I think in some ways I have a chip on my shoulder with that.
I mean, you saw wealth that's even beyond what's there in St. Louis, like, because...
But again, we've spoken about this before. It's a little it was different because it wasn't
When people have that kind of money, it's not about showing
right.
how much money we have.
And also, I lived in a ski resort town in Idaho that was. There's so much more going on there that what draws people there is the lifestyle, being able to be outdoors, being able to ski, going hiking, all that stuff. So there are these amazing houses, but they're pretty tasteful, and I think it has more to do with the lifestyle there than people flaunting their status there.
Yes.
Whereas those same people's houses back in Brentwood, LA are probably crazy.
Right.
And having the big house in Sun Valley, Idaho is maybe a badge of honor to them. But in Idaho, it's not
It's
a
not as
status
flaunting.
thing. Yeah, it's not as flaunting.
Well, I do think, that's kind of, even the debutante ball, which longtime listeners know that is, I was a debutante. It's the night my mom died. That, like, who got to be so there was like a court and there's a queen of the ball.
Yeah.
Who was the queen of the ball was essentially whose dad has the most money.
Right,
It was
which is
so
right.
crazy.
So that was more invisible to me in high school. At the same time, though, I went to a private high school because my mom taught there, so I got to go for free.
Mm-hmm.
My core friend group, though, we were the like truly middle class kids, though. If you think about it, we were all the kids that lived like 10 miles south of town in the other town.
Your mom was a teacher. Your dad worked at an auto parts shop.
Right. Like, so it's interesting to think of like, oh, well, my core group friend, we were kind of all in a similar class, sort of.
Yeah, you're like the Maxes of the world. You're all... Just kidding.
But that being said, though, all that other crazy wealth, though, there's a chip on my shoulder about it a little bit, but then at the same time, I feel like I've always kind of realized it's a little bullshitty, and also never really judged people with it or without it, sort of. Because the friends that I had that were in those crazy houses, it was so normal that, like, I never thought of it in the, like, oh my God, so-and-so's house is so cool. I really never had that experience. And I don't know why.
Oh, I totally did. I don't know if it was instilled in me, and, like, money was definitely always an issue in our lives and family. And, my dad worked really, really hard and ultimately became very successful, but he, had humble beginnings. And I was always aware of, like, who, and I didn't necessarily, that didn't come with judgment at all. Honestly, sadly, it probably came with a little bit of envy, or like, which is why when I'm back there and I have this different perspective, and listen, there are lots of nice, rich people out there, who's to say at what level of wealth is unethical? I'm just calling it right now. I think at $1 billion.
Right.
I'm going to call it there. I don't, what's the word I'm looking for? Not resent. I don't like hold it to anyone if they, whatever.
But I do think that you, though, that your upbringing, you still do care about that in the sense of when you're in St. Louis. Not care about it's maybe not the right word, but like it is still something that you acknowledge that status where you might be like, oh, well, they do have the big house. They are like, you might pay reverence more to people that have that status thing because that's that is ingrained in you, sort of, right? Where with the chip on my shoulder, I'm quicker to be like, oh, fuck those people. Like, it's like, they're fucking out of touch. Like,
I think
you know what I mean?
have more of a, like, internal battle. It's less about them, honestly, and it's more about me, where I'm going, I used to play this game, and, like, I feel like if I had stayed, could have continued playing this game, and I don't have the answers to life and stuff, but I do know with everything, like, I think back then I might have thought, oh, if you're one of those really rich families, like, you've got it made. Well, newsflash, like, I grew up with many of them, and I know that sometimes those are the most dysfunctional. Like, that is, I guess it's the old adage, like, money doesn't buy happiness. It
Right.
does once you have enough to live your life.
Yeah, there's that
know.
famous study, I bet the numbers evolved, but there is literally a number that they've found. It's like, this is the number at which, like, yes, once you have that much money or above, it does make things much simpler in the needs thing.
Yes.
But after that, you can't quantify happiness based on the money
Connected
about
to
that.
it.
Yeah.
Now, this then brings us to, well, what is happiness? Like, those people, some of them maybe those people. The people in those, like, hotel-sized houses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I feel like there's this, it's almost like fame. We've heard about people who are like, I want to be famous because that means I matter. We're all seeking to matter and to be seen and stuff like that. And then once you get fame, I mean, it's no one who is truly famous is like, it's the best. It's kind of you're in a jail of your own making.
Yeah.
Well, what is it that brings you joy? I mean, I think it's the little things, kind of, obviously, and family and connection and those moments where we just had one and talked about one, the moment of the hummingbird video, like that moment of feeling connected to something so much greater is what matters and what counts. And I think if you're distracted by the almighty dollar, then you're not appreciating that stuff as much. I don't know.
I don't know either.
This is all just to give you, when I'm in St. Louis, this is like, these are the things I'm thinking about. It's not just like this is beautiful. Great. I have like so much conflict being there. It's so strange to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
But I also love it. It is beautiful. It really, it's almost like, it's so idyllic looking that you're like, who wouldn't want to be here and do this? But having grown up in it and knowing kind of the strings attached to it, it's different. So
you also grew up in a very specific part too, like, because there's part of me where I'm like, ooh, what would it be like to live in St. Louis and to live in U City, which is a really fun,
it would
cool
be a very different
neighborhood,
experience.
and
Yes.
like
there are great parts of St. Louis,
and not that the neighborhoods you're talking about are bad. It's just
No.
like there is is it palatable keeping up with the Joneses that you sense when you get there?
Yes.
That's cool. It's interesting.
And I will say, like, my very close friends who still live there are not part of that. I just want to clarify. Like, there are so many different versions of lives to be had in St. Louis that have nothing to do with that section. But just because it's interesting. I mean, my house is kind of like the house I grew up in, which is very pretty, which is very modest in relation to the homes around it, but it's kind of in the heart of all of that.
But it is as simple. You're saying like they're not involved in it, but there is an unavoidable version of it too. Like just where, whether it be like the car of the moment or something, there is a pressure that they don't even feel. Like, here's kind of a dumb example, but I can think over the years in my industry with like producer friends and whatnot, there will be a 5-year stretch where like, this $3,000 microphone is the microphone that everyone's recording on, right?
Right.
And so you just kind of feel that, and it's like, I need that microphone, right? Because to keep up with all my peers here.
Right.
But then guess what? That microphone morphs into a different brand or something, one that has its moment. Do you know what I mean? But that's happening. So that's still happening
That's
to everybody.
everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's like it's almost like when the Ford Explorer came out.
Oh,
if you can remember that, every fucking person in St. Louis in that world got one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay. That got a little ranty. Not your thing. My thing.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. I don't want to come across as an asshole. I don't want to come across as like I have all the answers. It's more just like this internal conflict I feel about where my values were and where I thought they should be back then versus where they are now, which is kind of all over the place. But
it's interesting. Is values even the right word for some of that stuff that is? It's so hard to even know it's happening to you. Like it's happening to us in a different way than it's happening to some of the people that you're talking about there, and we just don't know it.
Yeah,
or we do know it, but
beyond the economics and the money of it all. This also very much speaks to like political affiliation.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Without me realizing it, like everyone around me was Republican in a way that like I didn't even know that there was tension between parties. I don't think it was anything near what it is now, but it was just, we're all Republican. Like,
right, sure.
And so those values I kind of just had. And honestly, none of it felt troublesome or fraught or like, I wasn't even aware that there were any problems with that system of thinking. And like, I've said this many times. It wasn't, I got my degree in economics in college, and learning about the failures of trickle-down economics and things like that was the first thing that opened my eyes to go, oh, wait a minute. Like, this system isn't what I had been led to believe it was.
Right.
Plus, I was raised Catholic. I mean, we've talked at length about me thinking I was going to hell after having sex. There was so much internalized misogyny. There are a lot of complicated things that I grew up with, and I know I'm not alone here. I mean, I think part of growing up is also, evolving, and I think this happens for almost everyone, where you look back on the way you viewed certain things and approached life, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right.
We did it.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.